Neelam Pathak, and I'm the founder and CEO of VIMA, which is Women in Manufacturing and Allied Industry. And today, here we are with a very interesting session. But before I introduce our guest for today, let me also tell you about what is the purpose of VIMA and what VIMA stands for. So, VIMA is Women in Manufacturing and Allied Industry. At VIMA, we have taken a mission to empower 1 million women in manufacturing industry because we know that the workforce participation of the in the manufacturing industry for women is even lesser than 12% in India today. And to have this increase, we have taken this mission. Now, how are we going to do this? We are providing a platform to the whether you are a student or a professional or a MSME or a company. We are providing a platform for you to skill, to network, to get the right mentors, and to have a longer and rewarding career in this industry. If you want to get connected with Vima, you can be a Vima member, and you can also know what are other supports that we at Vima does. Now, to connect, you can visit our website, which is www.vima.co.in. But this is about Vima. Now, as a part of Vima skilling, we always, every month, we try to have guests with us, and then we try to understand what has been their journey. And in the same thing, today we have Dr. Sonali Kirde. And Dr. Sonali is a founder and CEO for HealthSpect and Elevate. And I'd say she has been doing multiple things. But the one particular thing that actually was is quite interesting about Sonali is she is a medical professional and go a medical professional into a startup, which is very different, and that is exactly what Sonali. So welcome, Sonali, in this discussion. I believe
Thank
the
you.
people who would listen this that how a medical professional actually coming into a startup culture and being a startup founder and owner, that would be very interesting to know. I'd like you to have your introduction and please walk us through this journey of yours.
Thank you, Neelam. First of all, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Neelam, for having me here. And all my best wishes for Vima and Rozgar Dhava for your future successful, sessions and events. So, about me, for our audience, I'm a medical doctor. I have done my MBBS from GMC Nagpur, and post my MBBS, I did, work in rural healthcare as a chief medical officer for a short period. And after that, I decided to do my MD in pharmacology, clinical pharmacology from MGMS Sevagram, which is in Varda. After my MD in pharmacology, I decided to join pharmaceutical industry, and I was with pharma industry for roughly 6 years. Three companies, multinationals, US based, UK based, and Japan based. And during this period, I realized that job is something that I can't do for the rest of my life. And there was always, I realized this much earlier, but to start with, I wanted to build that formation. I wanted to build that foundation, that experience, that exposure, right exposure, and at the global level, how pharmaceutical industry functions, what is exactly, the entrepreneurial mindset that also requires a lot of training and a lot of exposure. So I took this as a project. And after spending a lot of enough time in pharma industry, I decided to start my own venture, which is HealthSpect, through which I'm guiding and consulting many healthcare startups, not only from the domestic grounds but also internationally. Elevate is also a passion project of mine, wherein I guide and mentor medical professionals and life science professionals to have their careers in a non-traditional and non-conventional, career pathways. So this is about me.
Thank you, Sonali. I was reading today somewhere about this data that how many actually from the startup culture, because startups are increasing, how many are actually the women founders? And surprisingly, in fact, this data says that there are around 18%, which is difficult to believe, out of the various startups in India. But this is what the data says. Naturally, there could be different base of counting, but what I know is that it is, women founders are making their presence felt in the startup culture. And if I have to understand for you, I mean, both of us has been the startup founders, but I would like to know your journey that from being a medical professional and then becoming a startup owner, and then and when you start the startup, I always say it is not a smooth ride. There is up downs, and actually a founder, being a founder journey is a very solo journey sometimes. So how did you overcome all those challenges, whether it was making a team or raising funds, or maybe those initial, even let people to believe in what you are doing is going to be working out. So
Yeah.
if you would help us walk through that part of yours.
Sure, sure. So, Neelam, great question. First of all, entrepreneurship is not a cakewalk, and medical entrepreneurship is also very difficult and very challenging. And this path is something which is very much less traveled. We don't have much examples or role models wherein we can follow them or follow the path which is already created for us. So obviously, it was very difficult for me. First of all, to think about it, to come out of my 9 to 5 very secured, very conventional corporate job that require a lot of mindset shift. And the second is, when I was making that decision, it was also very difficult for me to make people understand, this is also one of the avenue, this is also one of the choice and the option that we have. So while building startups, women, as you are saying, the proportion is good, but there are many things that generally women founders they have to face. The first thing is that I can say here is people don't believe them. Thankfully, I have not yet experienced this kind of, I would say, response. But I know many female founders, and I keep on discussing a lot of people, not only the male but also the women entrepreneurs, and they have openly discussed this with me that women founders are not considered as, I would say, good enough to run the show, to run a team, to lead an organization, and also there are many myths around it. So obviously, a medical entrepreneur, which itself is a different pathway. That was the first thing. Second thing, being a woman and doing it all alone. That was also a good, great challenge for myself. But this is something which is really my true calling, and I'm enjoying, and I am ready to face all the challenges. And when there are no challenges, there is no fun. So I truly believe in, I'm a hustler, so I love hustling.
Thanks, Sonali. One more thing which I have also experienced, and I don't know if you have, but it's about raising funds.
Hmm.
So I remember when you pitch up your idea,
Yeah.
and many a times people, as I said, believing on an idea that is coming from a women founder, and especially if there is a solo founder,
Hmm.
getting the investment for the pitch is, it becomes struggle. Although they will say, "Oh, your idea is very good." Have you faced like this? Because this is some of the barriers that I feel that, and that's the reason many people they start
Hmm.
and then they leave this
Yes.
because they can't take it up for. And it's not only for the women, but but generally I have felt that women face this investment problems. Women face this, so there is this perception barrier into the people mind, that whether they will be able to take it up, they will be able to scale it up or not. Have you faced anything like that? And if yes, we would like to hear how have you done that or overcome it.
Yeah, I think raising funds in India is not only a challenge for women entrepreneurs but also to the male counterparts. This has been a perception, especially what I can say from my observation and from stories that I heard from people is, especially coming from tier 2, tier 3 cities, and if the founder is a woman, people are not actually opening doors for them. And many a times it also happened that they also consider women founder as just a showpiece or a doll which will add some glamour to the to the organization, and they always believe that there must be some man behind this show. There must be some a male counterpart or a male co-founder who is actually running the show, and women is brought to the to the team or as a co-founder, just because it adds that women quotient, the gender balance, or maybe diversion and inclusion and all of that, just to make those tick marks. But many a times, if the idea is good, if the execution plan is ready, if the strategy is right, and if we are able to convince with our I would say the thought process and the detailed plan, I think it should not create problems for any entrepreneur, be it men or be it women entrepreneurs.
Thanks, Sonali, for putting it up. And as I said, that it is also based on how many people are coming up and raising, and how is this fundraising ecosystem is evolving in itself. And but I have also one more question on the barrier part, and this is regarding the gender biases at the workplace. I mean, you have also worked before you actually came up into the
Yeah,
startup. There might be many viewers who would be watching this video, and many women professionals as well who are part of the the industry, who are working, who are not the startup, but they are working in the industry.
yeah.
Have you, do you feel that there is biases at the workplace? And if yes, if you have felt it, how have you overcome? Because this will help them to really navigate through. And the purpose of this discussion is taking up those real problems
Yeah,
and discussing, ताकि हम उनको बता सकें कि हाँ हमने भी फेस किया हुआ है, चीजें होती हैं, एंड हाउ कैन वी रियली टेक इट आउट, उसको कैसे नेविगेट कर सकते हैं. Because I have seen many women, they leave their career sometimes because they are so much impacted because of this.
yeah.
I mean, in my life as well, I have seen people doing it. But I wanted to know from you: have you observed it, seen it, and if yes, how have how can they overcome this barrier?
I think gender bias is real. Let's be very blunt. Let's be very honest about it. I have observed it. I have also experienced it to some extent. Because, and this is specifically, the experience of women who are strong opinionated, or who are equally talented, or maybe women who know their values, or who know how to lead any project. So this has been an observation that gender bias is real in corporate industry or non-corporate, in healthcare or any other sector. It is very much there in India. But how to tackle this is something, there are multiple ways of doing it. For example, if we are not able to convey the message that we want to very, very bluntly and very honestly, that boss, this is something that I'm not liking. If you are okay, we can continue, otherwise discontinue. That could be the one way. The second way could be training people, training their mindsets, because it will not happen overnight, because they have this this thought process since birth, or maybe they have what they have observed in their surroundings. So it takes time for people to grow. But at the same time, we need to create those role models wherein the founders or women leaders should be able to follow that particular path. So this is what I have observed in corporate industry specifically. Yes, the gender bias was there. Though people talk about it, the HR also try to create that kind of balance environment, but many a times it has happened that it is always also there that male, I would say, colleagues, they generally share ideas during the sutta break, or the sharing on drinks. So many a times I was told that why don't you become a part of it, because I don't smoke and I don't drink. So I always used to decline. No, I don't want to be part of such meetings, because I don't want to demean my value. And secondly, that's not a right way of doing discussions. We have proper formal meetings. So this has been my experience, that people generally try to create such type of circumstances wherein they don't want that female counterpart to be a part of it, because they know she will not be very comfortable. And secondly, because she's not coming to that particular party or that meeting, they also would like to sideline that particular female. That's also a great way of raste ke kaate hatane ka. That's a good way of doing it. But I think these people are very weak at the this level. So it needs a lot of.
Thanks. You have been very, I should say, bold, and हिंदी में बिंदास कहते हैं, और ये this is actually the observation we
Yes,
have
yes.
seen it.
Yeah,
And I believe many of our women professionals who have joined us today would also be able to link and relate with that. So we talked about the barriers. Let's talk about the support system. We know that it's very important to have mentors in life. I have my own set of mentors who help me to guide through my career, through my startup, and I still have mentors who guide me. And that support system is very, very important, whatever phase of career or life you are.
Correct.
If I have to understand from you, how has it been for you, and how do you say how the people should actually be identifying or connecting with the right set of mentors? Because at
Mm.
Vima, we have also realized this, and we realize that in manufacturing industry there are a lot of women, they leave their career in between because they don't know how to navigate further. So
Mm.
we have seen 30% of attrition happens into the mid career, and unfortunately most of them, they don't come back to the industry,
Yeah.
and that also pulls down the overall number. So we realized that, and we said, okay, let's have a industry mentor. Now these are
Mm.
the people who have seen the industry, they can help you how to navigate your career. If I have to ask you, how has been your experience on the support system? I mean,
Yeah, so for me, I think I was always blessed to have good mentors in my life. Many a times it has happened that people have shared these stories with me that they are not finding the right ally or right colleague or right mentor who will be able to guide them. But for me, gender in such scenarios where we need right guidance or not, right mentorship from someone, gender doesn't play any role for me. If the person has that talent or that knowledge and that experience, I do not hesitate to reach out to that person, be it a man or a woman, doesn't matter to me. So, and I also come from a family wherein the gender was never discussed. So we were never told that because you're a female, we will not take your opinions. We were always, all three of us. I have one brother and we are two sisters. We were always treated equally, and our opinions were always valued. So in fact, I would say the female opinions were more valued as compared to male opinions, so I think coming from that culture and from that background, for me it was very easy to reach out to people and to find the right guide and the right mentor in someone. It can be male or a female counterpart, but this has been also a barrier to many women, because they do not reach out to mentors. And if that mentor is a if that mentor is a man, because they have those experience that it is not taken in a very positive manner. Why she's approaching me? Is she giving some signals? Is she approaching me because I'm very handsome? So all these stupid thoughts they have in their minds, and the female friends, they do share it with me. And I just think, I never consider like this. Whenever a male counterpart or a male colleague or any male founder is approaching me, I never think in that manner. I always think because he has approached me because we want to discuss something which is very fruitful, useful, impactful, but not because I'm a female and because I'm open for collaborations. I think this mindset issue is a big issue in India, and people really need to work on this. I feel extremely sorry for their thought process.
in fact, this is getting mentors in the industry that Vima is in the manufacturing. So
Yeah.
we have, because this has been a male-dominated industry. So
Yes.
in fact, 99% of our mentors are the professional colleagues, and I'm very happy that many of our mentors who are part of that ecosystem, they voluntarily come in front, that yes, we think that this is a need, that we need to have more women as a part of the sector, and they are coming to guide this students or the professionals of the mid career, and I would really wanted to thank all of them through this platform. But the other thing, supporting system, that I would like to talk, women supporting women.
Mm.
And I mean, we have seen many this thing. I am blessed that we have a group of Vima ambassador and mentors who support each other, and these are the industry leaders, some of them are the owners of the companies, and they support this whole that yes, it is a vision, it is a platform, we need to have this. How has been your experience? Because it is always said that, oh, they don't support enough or something, but at least I have been fortunate enough to get that support. But what about you? How have your experience been?
I think there is always mixed experience. Every woman will not support every other woman. Same, I would say, for same thing is applicable for male fraternity as well. So for me, I was fortunate enough that I was always supported by, and I was always helped by people, irrespective of their gender. And I have not yet come across any example wherein I can say that this particular woman wo meri dushman thi, and she wanted me not to grow. Thankfully I don't have any such experience to share. So people had been very nice and kind with me, and God has been really great to me. But I know there are many stories wherein they always say that, because you have the women leader at the top, the other women are not growing, and because you have a male leader at the top, the women are not growing. All these stories are there. Both the versions are, they do exist in the parallel universe.
Sure, thank you. And as I said, Vima has been fortunate enough to get the ambassadors. In fact, these ambassadors are the women leaders who are the, as I said, who are the company owners and who are supporting this, that we need to have more women as a part of
Very
workforce.
nice.
Now,
Mhm.
let me also talk about the leadership style. We know that women lead very different.
Yeah,
You know, they have a very different leadership style,
correct,
and that's very unique. And it's like, if I'll ask, mine is very different than what it could be yours. But then if I have to ask you, what's been your leadership style, and do you feel that women does it better, or it adds up, or it complements? So I don't want to compare the genders here, but it is more highlighting what
yeah,
women leadership style has been and what has been yours and how it has helped in your venture.
correct. So leadership, again, it is gender non-specific, but I would say one quality that a female leader can have, and which drives differently as compared to a male leader, could be empathy. And this I'm saying with a lot of responsibility and with a lot of observations. I was also leading a team of 30-40 people when I was in charge of health center. So they have said this many a times to me. There had been male head, or head who is head of the institution, who was male, but the kind of leadership that I had there, they were very happy for multiple reasons. First thing is, women, people consider that women are risk averse, so they don't take risk, or they play very safe. In fact, I would say women leaders are more bold, they are more stronger in terms of strategy, in terms of collaborations also. Like, people say men are better in collaborations, but I would like to contradict here, or give a contrasting statement here, that women are even better collaborators. And the third thing is, they are very empathetic leaders. So empathy is something which every leader should have as a quality, and we should have that mindset of, I will also grow, but my people will also grow with me. So that kind of, because women also head the family at home. Many homes, women are actually, the ultimate decision is taken by women or taken by mothers. So I think they are very good at management, they are very good at multitasking, they are very good at, I would say, visioning what will happen in future, and predicting and planning, and also collaborating, and also extremely empathetic towards the employees or towards their colleagues. So I think these are few qualities that makes women leadership very special. At the same time, men leaders, they are also having all these qualities, but what I have observed is they are little impatient. So this has been my observation. The patience is lacking, but obviously it is not applicable to everyone. But mota mota grossly, if you ask, these are some features that distinguish a female leader from men.
Yes, thank you. And I want to tell our audience today that please quote that these are our views and our perception and our thought. And we could be true to some part, but these are based on our experience that we have gone through. So that's
I'm
the
expecting messages on LinkedIn tonight from my main friends.
So, before I go to the next question, we have few viewers who have put up their question, and I would like to take it because we can take it at this moment. So, in fact, there's a question that what has been your pushing force towards this entrepreneurship journey? I mean, why have you chosen? And as I said, actually, people are interviewed that how a medical professional chosen, to take up a startup, and what has been that pushing thing that said कि नहीं, सोनाली को अब एंटरप्रेन्योर बनना है, अब अपना काम करना है.
नहीं तो नीलम, ऐसा था कि जब एमबीबीएस लिया तभी ऐसा थॉट था कि आई विल हैव समथिंग ऑन माय ओन, लाइक मे बी इट कुड बी अ क्लिनिक और हॉस्पिटल, व्हाटएवर इट कुड बी। लेकिन ऐसा था कि सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट इज समथिंग दैट आई ऑलवेज वाज वेरी वेरी अट्रैक्टेड टू। I never ever wanted to become employee of someone else, but because I come from a background, I always had to start from scratch, start from zero. So obviously, employment or these jobs give you a good foundation, not only in terms of finance but also in terms of exposure and experience. So for that reason, I did my job for a few years and got the right exposure and experience. But that कीड़ा, that entrepreneurial कीड़ा was always there, and I always used to think कि मैं कब इससे बाहर आऊंगी और कब मैं मेरा खुद का कुछ चालू करूंगी. Because as I said, I'm a very creative person. I don't like to work in a given framework. I like to design my own frames, and at the same time, I also want to give opportunities to others. So giving employment to others is also one of the important driving force, what brought me to entrepreneurship. Because it is something that keeps me alive, it is something that keeps me relevant and keep me, I would say, confident. So because I wanted to create that impact, because I want to play on my strengths and use myself to the full potential, I think entrepreneurship gives you the best platform.
Sure, thank you. In fact, there's one more question by our one of the viewer, Dr. Swapnil. He's saying, he's asking, and if we maybe we both can answer on this, that is the government today encouraging towards women entrepreneurship? I mean, how is if you know about some of the schemes, some of the facilitation that the government is doing, and even the central and state government boards are doing, so that there could be more participation of the women entrepreneurs.
Yeah, there are many schemes specifically for women entrepreneurship. People also ask me that, do you agree with this? Why there are specific schemes for specific gender? Don't you think this is a bias? I think it's very important to uplift our women, entrepreneurship, and to help and support them, because what we see is only what's happening in the metros and what's happening in the top cities. But if you go at the grassroots level and the rural and the tier 2, tier 3 cities, you will find many women. They have a lot of ideas, but they are not supported enough from their families. They're also not supported enough from the society and also from the ecosystem. So it's very important to support them and to give them the right support in terms of schemes, in terms of funds, in terms of whatever kind of support is required. So government is also has realized that we have to work in this particular direction, and there are many schemes which are available for women entrepreneurship and to help and support them. There are many universities also which have incubators. I can take a name of SNDT University, which is Women University, and they have an incubator called as WISE, WISE. And this particular incubator is specifically, focusing on women empowerment. Then there are many other organizations which are trying to help and support women.
Yes, in fact, even I can say that there are many incubators as well as the government scheme where they are seeing if there is a women founder as a part of the team,
Yeah.
how much stakes that the women equity share that the women has that, and in fact I know that one which was key. KIF, which is from the Gujarat only, KIF We Innovate program is there. I mean, they were seeing that if the women has 50% of the equity share as a part of the company, they support those women and this they can they. So these are some of the programs. So those viewers who are watching this, or those I should say people who want to be in the entrepreneurship, I said this is the time, and where there is a support coming from the government, there is a lot of ecosystem which has developed, and I believe it has really helped it, because I have gone through it and I have seen that there are so many that are supporting them, not only in the funding but mentoring and the other facilitation, and many are giving the facilities also to experiment, to work out. So
Yeah.
it's the right time to be an entrepreneur. Please, that's
Yeah,
been
and
my say.
many women, they have shared with me they don't have a working space also.
Yeah.
Like because the घर का environment वैसे नहीं है कि शांति से काम कर सके. Sometimes they have kids, sometimes they have more family members, and the space is also not enough. So these incubators, they are also giving co-working space or working space. I think women entrepreneurs should always approach incubators and get incubated if required.
Surely. Let's go to the next question, and then we will take few more viewers' question later. One question is about always scaling the start. You know, we know that as a founder, we know our idea is best. We
Hmm.
believe in our idea. Then we start the prototype, we work also. But we have seen that 80% of the startups, or more than that, in fact, the data says more than that, they fail because they can't scale up. And
Hmm.
that's one of the major things. So if I have to ask, how has been your strategy or your plan, and you have been thinking,
Yeah.
which you can share with some of our audience who are into that phase, and who would be thinking, so how can they navigate through the scaling barrier for the startup?
Yeah. So scaling, as per me, requires two things. One is funds, and second is strategy. So many a times, what has been observed that the funds are not raised when it is actually required. Either it is raised too early, or it is raised just because it is in fashion. Everybody is doing that. I will also do. So first of all, you have to see whether this is really the need of the hour or not, or there are other ways of raising funds, or getting that or getting that early stage funds. It could be family office, it could be HNI, it could be your relatives, it could be your family, or it could be your friends and your colleagues from the same fraternity. For example, in my case, it could be doctors. So these are the better ways of raising funds in the initial part. But once you reach at some level and at some stage, definitely you'll need to raise funds. Now, raising funds is also a challenge, not only in healthcare but all the other sectors. How best you can project yourself, how best you can put your case and convince investors, showing them the right path without fluff and without tall claims and without going giving that false data. Because people are very smart, though they come from a non maybe they come from a non domain backgrounds, or non, for example, non medical backgrounds, but still they have this due diligence experts like me who will definitely help them whether this is the right project to invest or not. So that is one thing. The second is that I would say is the strategy. Now many a times what happen is people, and especially founders, they put themselves so much into the system that they want to do each and everything by themselves. Now it is not a good leadership, it's not a good practice. This company will definitely collapse because you have not empowered your people, you have not delegated the task, you have not empowered each division, and you have not created those heads of those divisions. So it's very important uh, to disseminate your powers, and don't consider yourself as top. I would say consider yourself at the center, and then having all those people around you, so that you just become a point of contact and nothing else, and everybody should be empowered. And so that empowerment is not given enough to every individual. That's why people just work with you in startups also, just like jobs, just like they are doing some kind of job. They don't consider themselves as empowered. They can't see the roadmap, they can't see their future, and they can't see the growth, whether this founder will grow, but what about me, how I will grow. So that vision has to be there, and the transparency between the employee and the founder is to be well established right from the beginning of the journey. The third thing that I would say is people are not automating systems. So scaling definitely will require systems. Now initial phase is fine, but how best you can automate it, that system will now you have to just come out of it and let the system work for you. Build nice protocols, build nice regulations, or maybe create a nice rule book, so that everything work in a proper fashion, and everything work in a uniform way, be it any geography or be it any new person joining the company. So it's very important to have these three things: when to raise funds, empowering your employees, and I would say best automation, how best you can take help of AI tools or maybe any other software to run that company. I think these are a few criteria and tools, I would say, for scaling.
Sure, you rightly pointed it out. In fact, I was about to ask if, Vima believes in that skilling is very, very important,
Yes. Yeah.
and skilling, reskilling, upskilling, because it's a lifelong journey of learning. It's not that okay, मैंने अभी MBA कर लिया, मैंने engineering कर ली और अब मुझे, because I we believe कि अगर आपको relevant रहना है, competitive, if you want to be competitive, it's very, very important that you upskill yourself all the time. And that is why we provide a lot of skilling through the Vima. In fact, the session is also a part of having this information to our audience, that if someone is considering coming in as an entrepreneur full time, what is that they should be ready for. So if I have to ask, what are those skills that you feel the entrepreneur, and I will not put it gender specific, but as an entrepreneur, you think that people should invest in it? if
Yeah.
they want to become a full-time entrepreneur?
Yes, so I think first I'll talk from the medical entrepreneurship point of view, and then in general, this is beyond gender, of course. So I think every entrepreneur should first be super confident about themselves. Many a times people just don't take that leap of faith because they are very underconfident. ये होगा या नहीं होगा, नहीं होगा तो नहीं होगा. It's okay. We just have one life. So that, challenging the status quo, challenging yourself, challenging the systems, and coming out of that routine and that, monotonous kind of work things, I think that is something which is very important. Second thing is considering what is the right time of doing it. Now many people ask me कि मुझे बहुत great idea है, मैं अभी कूद जाऊँ क्या. So I think that's not the right way of doing it. You have to spend some good time in, first of all, as you said, developing those right skill sets. Second, right time, you have to also calculate your professional and personal goals, whether this is really the right time for me to jump in right now, or maybe I can park it for some time and maybe I can do later. But never ever think of canceling, or canceling that dream, and no, I will do this rest of the life. Now, coming to the medical entrepreneurship, medicos are generally very thorough because we were trained like that. We are thorough in subjects, we are thorough in knowledge, in scientific knowledge. We are also not allowed to commit mistakes because our mistakes will actually, because we are handling lives, we are dealing with patients' lives. So we are definitely not allowed to commit mistakes. But entrepreneurship is all about failing fast, is all about growing fast, it's all about committing mistakes, and be shameless about help. Be shameless about asking for mentorship or for guidance. If you don't have role models in your sector, you can reach out to people from other sectors who actually doing similar work, maybe in their sectors. So I think these are some, the mindset issues that medicos have, and once we come out of that, mindset issues, and we work on that, I think medicos can really transition themselves from doc to docpreneurs because it requires that entrepreneurial mindset. The next thing that I would say is communication. Communication is the most important skill set in any business. And it is applicable for both the genders. So how best we are in communicating, like how comfortable we are in making other person talk about any other subject, or how comfortable we are in communication, I think that is also very important. Communication also play very important role in pitching. So many a times I also go as a jury at many hackathons and ideathons. We see that the slide itna khas nahi tha. The idea was also good, but the slide somehow was not good. But so we were like disappointed. Oh, this person has a great idea, but not able to project properly. But post presentation, when we actually start discussing the issues, the person is so good in communication, we just get impressed. Okay, at least they are not able to project it or put it on the slides, but they know what exactly they want to do. Maybe we can give them one more chance. So communication plays very important role for collaborations, for partnerships, for involvement, for inclusions, for everything. The next thing I would say is negotiation skill. Now many people, and this as I have observed in workplace, because I used to guide many medicos for pharmaceutical industry jobs. They never used to negotiate on salary. Now, negotiation in salary, but negotiation in general also. This is a very important skill set, because if you really want to crack that deal, you should have that negotiation skills. So, negotiation skills is also important, and decision making skills. So, nothing is free, nothing is easy. Definitely, there will be some collapses. There will be a few spikes in the career, but that risk taking ability or capacity, and uh, putting yourself in someone else's shoes, that is also something which is very important. So just to summarize, communication skills, negotiation skills, decision making skills, then your interpersonal relationships are also very important, and of course your skills in terms of your technical skills, your knowledge, your intentions has to be super pure, then only people will come and join you. I think these are the few basic skills, and always keep yourself relevant. And for that, you have to. The degree will not give you degree just gives you the qualification, but it will not make you an entrepreneur in true sense. You have to taste successes as well as failures, and for that you yourself have to jump into the tank.
Sure. One thing which I have to add up, being an entrepreneur, you have to be shameless, which
Yes.
you said. That is one important skill one need to have.
Yeah.
You should be able to approach, ask anybody what is good for your business. And
Yes.
you have to do that. And
Yeah.
I also want to add, entrepreneurship is a very solo journey. You
Mm,
will have your ups, 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 and sometimes it is all down, and then you feel like you don't know where it is going.
correct.
But the resilience is very, very important. And those startups who has gone through and who has kept that, they are the one who are successful today. So for all the entrepreneurs who are thinking of becoming, I believe these two are also important. Please
Yeah.
do
Just
practice these skills more.
one point I wanted to share is very rightly mentioned, and I was missing on this particular point. There will be, time when things will not go in your as per your, I would say, plan. So दो वो जो lows है हमारे उसको भी handle करने के लिए या फिर support करने के लिए we need some people. So always try to find the best set of people around you, those who believe in you, they love you, they care for you. It could be family, it could be friends, and they just love you unconditionally. Because if you don't have that support system, and more than finances, I think emotional support system is very very important in case of entrepreneurship. Now in my case, my spouse is very helping, is very supportive. Whenever I am low, he's always there, for to he will just listen to me. He will neither give me suggestions nor any idea, but he will just listen to me. I want that, those years. I want that person which is the safest place for me. So having that particular a friend or a colleague or brother or father or your son, could be, it could be anything, anyone, but that, the support system you have to build yourself. Without that, I think it is not possible. Women के लिए भी नहीं और men के लिए भी नहीं. Applicable for, it's applicable for both the gender.
Surely, surely. There's one more question which has come from our audience is like, but this is more on coming on the empowerment. That
Okay.
what is the best solution to empower capacity building? Here, the audience is trying to understand from the capacity building of the beneficiaries or the societies on our society, so that they can understand or they can empower on the women or the girls. Like, how can more women, as we were saying, because one is, if I say, field of or coming as a, in the STEM field or coming as an entrepreneur, because the thing starts from the early childhood. Like, not everybody, not all women, like I would like to quote here, Sonali. In fact, yesterday I was having a discussion as a part of Rojgar Daba. I was talking to one of the one of the women from a remote rural areas, from Ayodhya district in UP,
Okay.
and she was crying because she was like, she's an MA graduate, was a teacher. Her family asked her to leave the job, and then her husband also doesn't work, and it is like she's not allowed to go out of house.
Oh.
And it was very sad for me that even if girl is educated, she can, and she was saying that I want to do only for my 11-year-old girl, because I want to prove that I want to have that support system for her. Now
Yeah.
if, and this is very important, because it's not only that, it's not about entrepreneurship, but it is about this empowerment stuff that we talk.
Correct.
We are very fortunate enough that we have got this platform and a system support, but then there are these kind of women who exist. If
Yeah.
you want to add something that, how can our startups, or how can our this thing, we do through a lot for the Rojgar Dhaba, supporting such women. But if you have an experience that you want to add up and you want to say, how can it be done?
Yeah, so when I was working in rural healthcare, I had ASHA workers and Anganwadi Sevikas. Uh, we always used to create awareness about such roles in villages. So what I have observed is similar kind of situations were at home. They were considering अगर वो घर के बाहर निकली तो हाथ से निकल जाएगी. She will leave us, she will leave our family, because somewhere they know ki they are not treating her well. That's the crux of it. So empowerment has to come, from both the genders. And this is not only an entrepreneurial issue, but this is issue related to our society. I think things are moving in a positive direction. At least we are at a better position. But there are many instances, and there are many stories, and there are many areas which are still not in a position right now wherein women are given that space and given that, empowerment that she can do, and given that confidence that she can come out of it. So this capability or capacity building will require how your parents think about it. how your family members are thinking about it, because when a child is small, it's always the family becomes the first classroom for that child. So whatever we are observing, we absorb from the environment. So giving the right environment to the child, be it telling them that both the genders are equal and you have to respect both the genders, I think that upbringing and that teaching and coaching is required from the parents point of view. I think the child who has such type of environment will never ever disrespect women, and will never ever think such will never look down upon women.
Sure, Sonali. As a part of VIMA, we also, promote and motivate women entrepreneurs, the
Mm.
startup owners,
Yeah.
so that they can come here, they can talk here, they can talk about their platform. So we would like you to talk about your venture, HealthSpect, and Elevate both, so that all the audience who are hearing from us, they would like to know about what you guys are offering, how can they connect. So would be happy if you talk about them as well.
Sure. So HealthSpect is basically a platform wherein we give consultations to healthcare startups. It could be from any geography, and we help them not only in raising funds or supporting, but also right from the ideation, because we have in-house capability. So ideation to upscaling, the entire journey can be supported through HealthSpect. Elevate is something which I'm primarily focusing for health science professionals, wherein I help them in upskilling, or as you rightly mentioned, skill sets is something which is very important about, apart from the technical expertise. So we are developing them or helping them in developing the right skill sets for non-conventional, non-traditional roles that a medico or a life science professional can do apart from the clinical practice. So these are two ventures that I'm currently working on. But I invite women entrepreneurs specifically to reach out if you have an amazing idea. Do not hesitate to reach out, and we definitely can have a next round of discussion.
Sure, Dr. Sonali, and we are almost coming closer to our, discussion. And at the end, I would like you to say if you have any future advice for the women who are considering to become an entrepreneur or those who are already entrepreneurs, what has been your, lessons and what is your advice for the future for these women?
Many people have told me to speak in Hindi, because some audience they want to hear in Hindi. So closing remark at least हिंदी में बोलूँगी. एक है कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इंट्रोस्पेक्शन इज समथिंग विच इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आपको देखना है कि ऑन्टरप्रिनरशिप करना है या कोई बिजनेस करना है या कोई आइडिया अमेजिंग है, तो पहले देखना है कि आपको ये सही टाइम है या नहीं. दैट इज वन थिंग, टाइमिंग इज इंपॉर्टेंट. सेकेंड थिंग इज वो आइडिया का वैलिडेशन करना है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू कैन नॉट जस्ट जम्प इन टू समथिंग बिकॉज यू थिंक दैट आइडिया इज बेस्ट. So focusing on problem is more important than getting obsessed with your solution. Your solution can be best and best in world for you, but what is the stakeholders opinions, that also is something which is very important. The validation of idea is also important. Then women entrepreneurship के लिए मैं कहूँगी कोई टाइम सही नहीं होता है. लाइक दे थिंक अभी बच्चा छोटा है, बड़ा होगा तो करूँगी, अभी 15 साल इंडस्ट्री में रहूंगी फिर करूंगी. सो इट इज नथिंग लाइक दैट. Wherever you think, I think this is the right milestone that I have achieved and I have gained enough of exposure and experience, I think I want to try this. I think you should try, at least give that one try, so that tomorrow you don't regret कि मैंने try ही नहीं किया. So and I think the system is supporting. We all are there. There are so many platforms which are helping. Vima is a great platform wherein they encourage women entrepreneurship. They encourage women to share their thoughts, just like what I'm doing now. It's very unbiased. It's very neutral, candid conversation that we are having today. So I think kudos to Vima, kudos to Neelam, the dynamic founder of Vima, for creating this space for such conversations. And I'm sure it will definitely ignite talents, and it will definitely encourage a lot of women entrepreneurs in India and across.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर सोनाली. इनफैक्ट मैं कहूँगी एंड मैं भी ये मैसेज हिंदी में ही डालती हूँ कि पीपल लाइक यू ऐसे कहते हैं ना कि आप चलते हो और फिर कारवां बनता जाता है. तो
Ah,
हमारी भी कोशिश बीमा में यही है एंड बीमा इज फॉर वुमेन बिकॉज वी रियलाइज्ड that we need to give that space. We represent 50% of the population, but in the workforce we don't represent that.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, we want more women, but it cannot be only done when I'm teaching only women. I
No.
need to skill men. I need to skill the whole ecosystem. I need to skill the whole, organizations, that how can they have more acceptability for them. And that's very, very important, because even if more women join, if they will not have that inclusion and acceptability, they will leave. And
Yes.
sustenance is very, very important to for us to have to be succeeded in our mission that we have. Thank
Yeah.
you for coming to our platform, sharing your views. And I know all those people, or the people who are going to be entrepreneur, or who are thinking to be an entrepreneur, whether they are male or female, they would have learned a lot. In fact, on a funnier side, I wanted to share, before I was coming to this conversation, there was a WhatsApp message in my chat, and one of the gentlemen asked, "Ma'am, actually, I want to get rid of my 9 to 5 job. What should I do?
I think
Should
the
I
Khan is
become an
urgent for
entrepreneur?"
everybody. Wow, good to know.
And I said, then it won't be 9 to 5 job. Then it will be 24/7 job.
Into 365. There
Yes.
are no breaks.
Yes. So that perception is wrong, that if you are becoming an entrepreneur, it is 9 to 5 will go. No, it will triple or, quadruple over
Yes.
time.
बट आई थिंक
And
उसमें मजा है क्योंकि वो हम हमारे लिए कर रहे हैं एंड इट्स अ
yes.
मिशन सो दैट पर्पस ड्रिवन दैट मिशन इज important, so I think then you don't consider it as a job, it's just your
Sure.
life.
Thank you for coming here and sharing. And we would like to thank all our audience who have been active, who have been posting questions. We hope to take up all the question. And thank you, Sonali, again. And thanks again, everyone.
Thank you, Neelam. Thank you, reader